Bachelor Patel from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication welcomes you to the session of wireless communication. Today I am going to discuss about the file that is wireless systems with topic GPRS, General Packet Radio Service. In the last session of wireless communication, we have seen about the CDMA 2000 architecture and about the channel configuration as well as about the LAN receiver. Now, this is the last topic of this unit number 5, that is GPRS, which is General Packet Radio Service. The difference between the different architecture like CDMA 2000, IS-95, GSM. The basic difference is GPRS is the efficient packet-based service, while in other case the channel-based communication will be done. While in this case the efficient packet service will be done, means the packet-to-packet transfer will be given. Here the data rate support will be from the 14.4 kbps to 171.2 kbps. This data rate support will depend on the number of users. Like if the number of time slots in the user increases, then this data rate will also be varied. The next is it allows the bursty traffic like the non-real-time communication like the web browsing or email services. It can be provided by the General Packet Radio Service. It also provides the always on-time connectivity. This is the biggest advantage of General Packet Radio Service GPRS over the other architecture. The various features or services that can be provided by it is the short message services or multimedia services that can be also be done by the GPRS. Also some security services, because in case of GSM we have seen that it uses the several authentication algorithm as well as the various ciphering algorithm. So here also the security services are authentication, access control as well as the user identity that can be provided by GPRS. Now let's see about the GPRS architecture. So first block is obviously the mobile station. Mobile station provides the security by providing the PIN number or unique IMEI number. It can be same in case of GSM as well as in the CDMA 2000 as well as for the IS-95 also. The next block is the base support subsystem. Base support subsystem is also be divided into the two partitions, that is base transceiver and base station controller. So the second block is the base transceiver. Here the role of the base transceiver is obviously for the full-fledged communication, but here the packet-to-packet communication will be considered instead of the channel-based communication. The next block is base station controller. Base station controls the message that can be or packet that can be received from the base transceiver and then provided information to the next or for the end. So after the base station controller, there is the SGSN supporting GPRS node or serving GPRS support node. Is that here the role of SGSN is similar to MSC in case of IS-95 or the CDMA 2000. So this serving GPRS support nodes provide the same function as MSC. There are also some blocks for this, that is SMSC. Here S stands for Serving Mobile Switching Center, means SMSC. The next block is SMS and IWMSC. We in the last session we have seen that IS-95 has the two different blocks, that is about the DMH, means data message handler, and next one is interworking function, is IWF. So here also the interworking means the connectivity between the networks will be provided by the MSC, and that MSC is called as IWMSC. Also the supporting node is connected with the various registers. One of the register is the home location register, HLR. Then the next one is the VLR, means visitor location register. The third one is AUC, authentication center, and the last one is EIR, means the equipment identity register. Here the role of the each register will be already seen in the case of the GSM as well as in the IS-95 or CDMA standard, that the home location is one type of permanent database, visitor location register is a temporary database, Authentication Center is used as one of the protected database. So these are the databases that can be concerned for the purpose of the GPRS. The another block that can be added in this GPS architecture is GGSN, means Gateway GPS Support Node. Also, there is another two blocks are preferred, that is SMSC and SGSN. SGSN means serving GPRS support node. It is similar to MSC, like in case of we take IS-95 or in case of GSM. There is also one different block, that is GSM, means Gateway GPRS support node. Now let's talk about the function of each block. So obviously GSM architecture for voice can be used for the GPRS. Here the network node is introduced, that is a new feature that can be introduced by SGSN. Means GPRS support node, it can be worked as a network node, also the public network instead of the PSTN. Here one more public network is PDN, packet data network, because here packet to packet transformation is done. Next is BSS. BSS is the second block after the mobile station. So BSS has the two blocks, that is BTS, means base transceiver, and the second one is the base station controller. So here the role of BSS is to recognize the packet data as well as for the BTS to support the transformation. Here the role of the BTS is to transfer the packet from transmitter to receiver as well as from the receiver to transmitter. Simultaneously can be done by BTS, so this will provide the multiplex type of communication between packet transfer. Next is HLR is the home location register. It responds to the queries from the GSM. In the last case, in case of GSM and IS-95, we have seen that home location provides counting related information or billing related information. But here the role of the HLR is to respond the query that is generated by the supporting node. The next function is divided into the three major categories, that is the SMS nodes is a new feature that is added in this case. So first, the role of SMS node is divided into the two major categories, SMS GMSC, means for the gateway mobile switching center, and the next one is interworking mobile switching center. Here, the role of these SMS nodes is to coordinate the GPRS as well as the non-GPRS services. Means it will provide the compatibility with GSM network also. The next feature that is new to this architecture is SGSN. SGSN is a serving GPRS support node, is the full form of it, and it is used for data and it works same as the MSC. Means the MSC that will that can be worked as a switching center in case of GSM and coordinate with the other block. The same work can be done by SGSN in case of this GPRS, like packet switching, routing, and link management, means which particular link is used for the packet transfer from the transmitter to receiver. And the third new block will be added in case of the GPRS is GGSN, Gateway GPRS Support Node. Here, the interference between the external network will be done with the help of it, and for this gateway GPRS support node, you should note that it will convert the GPRS packets into the correct data format. Means it requires some hardware configuration with it, like router should be added, new gateway should be added, or new firewall structure will be there for this GGS. And so these are the three new features that is added in the GPRS and that is previously absent in case of GSM. The next is GPRS handsets. GPRS handsets are mainly classified according to the terminals used. So here we classify it into the three major terminals, that is Class A terminal, Class B and Class C terminal. So first let's talk about the Class A terminal. Class A terminal is the most probably used terminal, and why it is most probably used? Because the voice and SMS can be done simultaneously. No individual channels can be needed for that, or no individual packet transfer will be done. So it is simultaneous tasking will be done with the help of Class A terminal. The next one is the Class B. Here the role of this Class B is to monitor the GSM and GPRS channels simultaneously. Here the difference between the things that will be done by Class A and Class B will differ in the purpose of it, that the Class B will only monitor simultaneously but cannot operate at the same time. But in the case of class A, it can be done simultaneously task, not only monitor but does the task like voice and SMS simultaneously. But in case of class B, it will only be monitor simultaneously but support only one at a time. So this is about class B, this is limitation of it. And the class C. Class C will work on the basis of the user requirement or based on the user selection. Means it receives the calls from only one manually selected user. Means if user will choose that he want to go for the voice communication, that it will done only voice communication. If user want the SMS services or maybe the packet services, then it can be done only that particular service. The rest of the services are rejected. So class C will clearly depend on the manual selection of the user. So these are the different types of handsets that can be used by GPRS, that is class A, class B and class C. The next one is the advantages. Why we want to use this GPRS? So there are three major advantages of it. Is obviously the high-speed data service up to 171 kbps can be provided, always on-time connectivity because it is a packet-based services, and it also supports the versatile type of application like the email services, web browsing can be done at a time. So this will provide with the high rate. So it has a list of applications that can be supported by the general packet radio service. The next one is some limitations for it. So the main limitation is speed lower in reality. Obviously, as I talked that it has a speed of 171 kbps, but it is expected if all the time slots of GPRS are used at a time. But it cannot be possible that all the time slots of GPRS used at a time. So that's why it is expected that when the one user will use or when the two slots are used, it will give the data speed like 56 to 114 kbps equivalent. The next limitation is limited cell capacity for all users. Means it will give the capacity as proportional to number of users. Means if the one number of users will use the same data, then it will give the highest capacity. If the two user uses, then this capacity may get degraded. So both voice and cell can use the same network, but here you should note that the use of one data for simultaneous impact will give the impact on the average revenue of the system. Means if the more number of users use the system simultaneously, means if class A terminal is used at a time, that it may get degrade in the revenue or may get degrade in the usage of this GPRS. So these are the two major limitations of it. Speed lower in reality, and the next is limited cell capacity for all users. There are also some list of the applications that it can be used for the internet access, email and text services can be also be supported as e-commerce in a banking system, in advertising because it is always on type of connectivity location based. You can use the GPS services with it, or as a multimedia services you can use the broadcasting services or the TV channels, or all the multimedia MMS can be supported by this. So this is up to the GPRS architecture and about the GPRS supporting node. Now let's compare the general packet radio service. This is our 2.75G standard of wireless communication. So let's compare it with one of the 2.5G standard, that is HSC-SD. HSC-SD stands for High Speed Circuit Switch Data. So let's compare both the technique. So HSC-SD is mainly ideally used for the dedicated streaming. When user use the dedicated service or for the one simple purpose, then it can be used. In case of GPRS, it can be used for the non-real-time internet users. Means email or fax can also be supported with the help of GPRS. If we talk about the data rate of both the service, then in case of HSC-SD, the 4 consecutive slots can be used and provide the data rate of 57.6 kbps. Here the consecutive time slots are used, and that's why HSC-SD gives a better data rate compared to GSM, because GSM uses the one time slot at a time. In case of GPRS, what happens is all 8 time slots can be provided the data rate of about 171.2 kbps, but again it depends on the all time slot usage. So if number of time slot usage reduces, then this rate can also be affected. The third basic difference between both the technology is the in case of HSCSC, it needs only the software changes for upgradation. If user want the updated version of the HSCSC, then he need to change only the software changes and then he can enjoy the new version of it. But in case of GPRS, if you want the new network, then you have to install some routers, firewalls, gateways in the network because it is a packet-based service, so you need all the hardware requirements. So these are the difference between the 2.5G and 2.75G standard of wireless communication. So this is the end of the unit number 5. So let's see the overview of unit number 5 that what we have seen in this chapter is first we have discussed about the GSM. In case of the GSM, first we have seen the architecture of GSM, that it has a basic block like mobile station, base station subsystem, network support system and operation support system. Then we have seen about the logical link channels. It can be divided into the traffic channel as well as the control channel. Traffic channel is again divided into the full rate and half rate. Then we talk about the speech coding of the GSM, that it contains the channel coding as well as the source coding, various interleaving and bus formatting step. So this is about the GSM standard. This is one type of 2G standard. The next we have seen is the CDMA, Code Division Multiple Access, IS-95 standard, about the architecture of it. We have seen two architecture of CDMA, that is CDMA 2000 architecture and IS-95 architecture. In both the architecture we have seen that in case of CDMA 2000 we need firewall and routers, while in case of IS-95 two blocks are added, that these blocks are new compared to the GSM, and these two blocks are IWF, interworking function, and data message handler. Again if we talk about the channel structure of it, then it will be divided into the forward as well as reverse, means uplink and downlink, and again it contains some pilot channels, paging channel, broadcasting channel, and about the access and traffic channels. So these are about the channel structure of CDMA. Lastly, in the CDMA case, we have seen about the rack receiver. It deals with the multipath propagation that we have already seen in the unit number 3, that due to multipath propagation, there is a chance of flooding, and if there is a chance of flooding, the system performance may not be great. So we use rack receiver in case of CDMA. Lastly, we have seen about the general packet radio service, its architecture, that it architecture uses the new block, that is SGSN, about the serving node, then different GPRS handsets, about class A terminal, class B terminal and class C terminal. Then we see list of the applications of it and we compare it with the previous generation, means 2.5 generation standard, which is HSCSC. So that's it for unit number 5. If you have any doubts or queries regarding this unit number 5, you can ask me on my email ID. Thank you for watching.